What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Raider Slim back with another video. And if it's your first time here and you like Raiders content, go ahead and click that subscribe. Appreciate you guys in advance. But let's go ahead and talk about the situation at hand with Pete Carroll. Now the question is Pete Carroll going to be returning next year to the Las Vegas Raiders? That's a big question mark. We don't know. It was some reports that came out and they were basically saying how the Raiders were going to try to figure out a way to part ways with Pete Carroll. Maybe in a nicer way of saying, hey, you're fired, but saying basically we part ways. Maybe figure out the money and basically say, you know what, appreciate you. Because I honestly see bringing back a Hall of Fame coach and then firing him in that fashion does kind of look bad, kind of stains his legacy and whatnot. But honestly, Pete Carroll was the last option out of the other options that we had. Obviously, Ben Johnson went elsewhere, Vrabel. These were names that were like trending as, we're coming to the Raiders. And basically, Pete Carroll, we landed Pete Carroll and Geno Smith. But, when he watched his press conference the other day, and basically they asked him, are you coaching for your job? And he said he doesn't feel that way. Honestly, he asked questions about the rebuild. So obviously he sees a future with the Raiders, but obviously he has to answer these questions this way as well. So honestly, me personally, I don't see Pete Carroll coming back. The Raiders honestly went from like bad to like horrible, went to like worse. They're sitting at 2 wins right now for the season with 3 games left. They're sitting in number 2 for the draft next year. It's just gone really, really bad. The offensive line isn't good. Pete Carroll, son over there, Brendan Carroll, Nate Carroll, the quarterback coach and game manager coach. These aspects of the game are really, really horrible. And it comes with the whole nepotism, man. He got his sons there. And, just trying to part ways with Geno Smith, which I think is going to happen. Geno Smith got into it with a lot of the fans. Just the press conference, man, Raider Nation, they speak loud. So I think, honestly, Geno Smith's done. I don't think Geno Smith wants to be a Raider. You can just see it. I just feel like, honestly, when Pete Carroll came, I expected a lot more. And I felt like it was going to bring more like football driven, like old school. Okay, here goes Pete. But it seems like the locker room's not even really feeling Pete Carroll. Honestly, just seeing the fight in these guys, man. And then, you're looking at Devin White and then Max Crosby get into a little argument, and these are type of things that when you lose, it's small things that can be elevated to make them bigger. They're amplified more because you're not winning, so you're going to be a lot frustrated, just like coming home, you have a busy day at work, you're tired, and something's on the floor or something, just anything can happen and just so amplified because you have that much stress. And, it's not just necessarily that, but it's just make it a bigger situation. But, just seeing the Raiders come out and not score anything, not have, even though they played the Eagles had a rough 3 weeks and they were pretty much down and out. And, they're the Super Bowl returning champs, you know what I'm saying? And basically the fans were like booing and it's all kind of stuff. It's like, man, we've been losing for a long time. But to have no game plan and no execution for that, and then coming out and then you sitting there saying these guys fought their tails off, like, oh, they fought, like, it's like, what did you see? Like, these guys didn't do anything. It was total, it's like 75 yards total in the whole entire game. That's not even a football field full of completed plays. That's really sad. 7 first downs and a total of like 38 plays. That's really ridiculous, man. And then everybody was saying, oh, let's go. Geno's not the guy, bench him. I was saying for a long time, Geno's the best quarterback that we have on this roster. Now, that's kind of sad to say because Geno obviously doesn't fit in the system. The O-line is not good. And then, AOC is probably the worst, right? And then we put Pickett. Pickett comes in, and then look at Pickett. Looks very, very horrible. He threw a pick to Bowers. Bowers wasn't even open. He ended up throwing a pick. So it's the same thing. 4 sacks. Game pretty much mimicked. He ran for a little bit. He got a little more pocket presence and a little more mobile. But honestly, man, the question with Pete Carroll, is he going to return? Me personally, I don't think so. Because obviously things did not go well. And I feel like just firing him and just coming out and saying, hey, Pete Carroll, you're fired, I think it's a bad look, even though that's pretty much what it's going to be. And I could be wrong, but I just feel like, honestly, Pete Carroll is going to be gone. They'll basically, headlines will be like, hey, he decided to retire. and part ways and put it in a more nicer way. But let me know what you guys think, Raider Nation. Click that subscribe. Appreciate you guys in advance. Drop me in the comments and let me know what you guys think. Is Pete Carroll going to be returning to the Las Vegas Raiders next year? Let me know, Raider Nation.